and welcome to our Quick Takes presentation. My name is Jim Coles, and I'm the Executive Director of the Columbus Area Labor Management Committee.
And I'm Meredith Porterfield, Program Manager for Columbus Area Labor Management Committee.
Today we're going to continue our look at some of the frequently asked questions we get about consensus decision making. We hope that some of these ideas will be useful to you and your groups as you work to arrive at consensus.
What if we can't get everybody to agree?
That can happen. And when it does, the first thing you need to do is ask that tough question. Why? Why is it we're not in agreement? What's going on? What are the things that we agree on? What are the things that we do not agree on? Make sure that the group has all of the necessary information that they should have to solve the problem, because no one can solve a problem without access to all relevant information. Be sure they're exploring all possible outcomes, not just fixed on one idea or one type of idea. Be open to new ways, listen to new ideas. The way we've always done it is not necessarily the best way to resolve the problem. We need to listen to those who are opposing our idea, because they may have good ideas that we haven't thought of, that we haven't considered, that need to be. And in the end, we can also ask the people who oppose the decision what they would suggest. What can they come up with that might be acceptable decisions to the group? What if you have one person that seems to be holding out?
That's a common concern that most groups have, and it usually is very rare when that does occur. But if you do have somebody that's holding out, it's usually for legitimate reasons, and it's important for groups to really listen to what that individual has to say. What we suggest is just simply turning it around to that individual and asking them how the group needs to proceed. And a lot of times they'll come up with some ideas that the group has not thought about. So that might be an option for you to try in your group. Consensus can take time. What if we have to make a quick decision?
That's something that can happen also. Usually when there's an emergency or outside conditions have caused some kind of a change in our working procedures. First of all, we should clarify why the decision is urgent, realizing this should be the exception to the rule, not the rule, that we have these urgent decisions. We may have to, under those circumstances, make a short-term decision. That's something that we'll agree to try. It may not be a full consensus decision by the group, but something that we can move forward with and to try to address the urgency of the matter. In those cases, we come back at the next meeting and say, okay, how'd that go? What things worked? What things didn't work? How can we improve it? Do we need to spend time and start over? And do we need to make sure that whatever we do becomes the standard operating procedure the next time an emergency comes up? Do you use consensus decision making for all decisions?
No, not necessarily. For labor management committees, they may use consensus decision making most of the time. But for certain situations, such as maybe a crisis situation, it may be up to one individual to come up with a decision. But what a group can do is come back after that situation is over, look over the decision that was made to determine if that was the appropriate decision for that situation, or should something happen that's similar to that again in the future, then you can determine whether or not that was the appropriate decision. Can we just agree to disagree?
No, because if you do that, you haven't come up with a solution to the problem. You're just passing it along. If the problem hasn't been resolved, your process has failed. You need to stay with it. You need to work a little harder, get more information, maybe use other problem-solving tools to help you better analyze and understand the information that's at hand. And sometimes you've just got to admit you need help. You may need that facilitator to come in and help you resolve the problems that you've developed. What are the most important factors in being able to make consensus decisions?
What we see from the groups that do the best at consensus decision making is the commitment that they have, that they bring to the group. They're very open and honest with each other. They go out, they get some information, they bring it back, and they want to share it with each other. It becomes the expectation within that group's operation of business that that's what they're going to be doing. They don't revert back to the traditional behaviors such as finger pointing, blame finding, or focusing on individuals. And they're very committed to solving the problem. They don't give up. They keep trying until they can come up with a resolution to the problem.
That's our presentation for today. If you have questions about consensus decision making, be sure and share them with us. Our website will be on the next slide. Please let us know and we'll get an answer back to you to try to help you as you work towards consensus.